Right. So today we are going to discuss about a topic called variables, data types, and constants. I think we have reached to a very fundamental topic of beginners for C programming, and the way you want to understand any language, we start with an alphabets, then we try to make then words, then then sentences and all. Here also I'm trying to talk about similar to that way. So like for every language, the way alphabets are important. Similarly, these three topics are similar to that. So we'll let us understand. So before I explain this, variables, data type, and constant, I think I was discussing about a memory structure where suddenly I got interrupted and I just started explaining the binary number system and all, number representation. So let me focus on 5 to 10 minutes on how a memory structure will be understood in terms of the graphical way, so that these three topics can be understood in effective manner. So let me draw basically a structure of a memory. So just I'm trying to use structure of a memory. So generally when I say structure of a memory, we are always talking about the memory called RAM. Okay, what is the full form of RAM? Yeah, any one of you can.
Random access memory.
Random access memory. Very good, right? So these three topics, variables, data types, and constants, they are completely related to this memory only. That is the reason I'm just trying to take the memory understanding first. So here, even though in the normal computer system we find memory in terms of the chips, but to understand the knowledge about programming and all, how we are going to understand the programming in terms of the storing the input values and in getting the responses into the memory, I'm trying to put this is a simple way of representation of a memory. So each location is one memory or one kind of the minimum size that we try to represent. So can anybody tell how many locations have made here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total. So let me take at least 8 locations so that it looks good. Okay, let me have 8 locations now. Now the thing is, I think in the very beginning class, I was discussing about the computer system, right? So computer system, there are two things. The processor might be belongs to some kind of speed in terms of the bit size. We need 32-bit processors, or we use 64-bit processors, or we use 128-bit processor. I hope all of you are aware of it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so nowadays I think most of the processors which are available in the market belongs to 64-bit processor. At the same time, we try to load the operating system on those processors. Operating system also comes under different bit sizes: 32-bit OS, 64-bit OS. Agreed or not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what exactly this indicates is, when I say 32-bit processor, the processor can handle an operation on the inputs where input can be of a length of how much? See, I given an example. Suppose I want to perform an addition of 3 plus 5. Generally in a decimal, what is the length? What is the result in decimal number system?
8.
Very good. Now I wanted to represent this 3 in the binary number system. Can anybody tell what is the binary number system for the 3? What is the equivalent value of a 3?
1 1, sir.
1 1.
1 1. And can you tell me what is the equivalent binary number for the 5?
1 0 1.
1 0 1.
1. And what is the equivalent for this 8? Tell me.
1 triple 0.
1 0 0.
So before I conclude this particular expression, just I wanted to remember all of you the what is that Boolean? Not Boolean. Basically, it's a what is that addition of logical addition, I should say, or binary addition. So binary addition, you should remember 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus 0 is 1 again. Then 1 plus 1 will be how much? Can anybody tell?
1.
1 0. Remember, because 1 plus 1 is 2, no? The binary addition basically this is. This is binary addition. See, to understand a variable, data type and constant, how we are trying to know, we are trying to first talk about the memory. When it comes to the memory, I'm talking about the bit size of the processors, at the same time the bit size of your operating system. And to understand exactly significance of bit, I'm trying to take one example of 3 plus 5, which is equal to 8. As our computer understands only a binary number and our memory also stores only a binary number. So I'm trying to represent 3 in terms of binary, which is a 1 1, and 5 will be in 101, and result will be 1000. But if at all I would like to get without taking the reference of a decimal number system, only a binary number system, these 4 things you must remember. And one more I just wanted to mention. If 10 plus 1, can you tell me what is the value? See, when you have a 2 digits in binary number system, first this is generally called least significant bit, and this is called most significant bit. Okay, the meaning of least, it has more what is that magnitude weightage compared to this particular. I think in the binary number conversion I have given some weights, right? 2 power 0, 2 power 1 and all. So whichever is the less weight, we call it as the least significant bit. Whichever side is having higher weight, we call it as most significant bit. So whenever you have a 2-digit binary number, again you at a time you can perform only bit by bit addition. So initially you can say LSB onwards we start doing the addition. So what is that you are having initially 0 plus 1? What is 0 plus 1? I think
One.
Yeah, 0 plus 1, 1. Just a minute. Hello. Sir, class lo unnan sir, oka 1 hour lo call back cheyna. Right, sir, right. Yeah, if you look at here, if coming to the second number, I have only 1 digit. When 1 digit is there, when you append zeros before the number, I think it doesn't have any significance. Agreed or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So when you don't have any equivalent length of the number, better you append 0 so that doesn't have any effect on the number. Then what is the next addition you are performing? 1 plus 0, right or not? 1 plus 0, how much?
1.
1. So total how much it is? 1 1. Correct or not? Is it okay to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Now, similar to that, let us have here 1 0 1. I'm trying to add 1 and 1. What I'm supposed to put here? If there is a second number has a lesser length, what I'm supposed to give here? 1 or 0?
0.
Oh, can you tell me what will be the 1 plus 1 is how much? 1 plus 1 is how much?
1 0.
1 0.
So
1 0.
1 right as a carry here and 0 you can keep here, right?
Sir,
1 plus 1 is 1 0, there is a carry here, right? So 1 plus 0 again?
1.
1 plus 0 is how much? 1.
1.
So 1 plus 1 again?
1 0.
1 0.
Result again added to the 1. So it will be 1 plus 1. Yes? 1 0. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, again 1 plus 1.
Yes, sir.
1 0.
1 0.
1 0 plus 0.
1
1
0.
0
0.
only. Yes or no?
1 0.
1 0.
Yes,
I think that is what we got now.
yes, sir.
Okay, now I just wanted to tell you one thing. We have a 2 inputs. I should say input 1. This is input 2. And this will be your output. Yes or no? Now coming to the
Yes, sir.
input 1, generally how much binary length is required to represent input 1? Only 2 bits. Correct or not? Similarly, the input 2 needs 3 bits. And coming to the output, what I have obtained is called 4 bits. Now here you can see the inputs are of different length and output is of different length. Coming to the computer processing, make sure that whether it is a lower number or some other number, always the length of the inputs and output must be same. If that is the case, we try to represent 3 by 0 0 1 1, 5 by 0 1 0 1, so that it becomes 1 0 0 0. Agreed or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Okay. So by using 4 bits, what is the maximum value you can represent in your decimal number system? All ones, yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All ones equivalent is how much?
F, sir.
F or 15. Anything is okay, correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now suppose I wanted to perform addition of two numbers, maybe 8 plus 8. What will be the result?
16.
16. What is equivalent binary number? 1 followed by 4 zeros. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
4 zeros.
If my memory is represented only by 4 locations, can I store this number?
No, sir.
No,
Tell
sir.
me. So what is going to happen is when your result is 16, only the LSB onwards, least significant bits are going to be stored, and your most significant bit is going to be ignored. When it is ignored, what is your result now? What is the meaning of 4 zeros?
0, sir.
Zero.
So instead of 16, what I am trying to get? 0. Yes or no? So this kind of errors generally considered as overflow errors. What kind of error? Tell me.
Overflow.
Overflow error. Very good. So finally, we are coming to understand that whenever I'm trying to use a processor of 4-bit in one time, how many bits I can give input? Input should be 4-bit. Second input is also 4-bit. My result also 4-bit. So what is the maximum answer you can expect by using 4-bit?
15.
15. And suppose you have a 4-bit processor with you and your result is exceeding 15. Do you think the processor is useless or still I can make use of the processor?
No.
So what does it mean? No means we can't perform or we need to go for a high bit processor. What do you mean by it?
We have to go for high bit.
High bit processor, right or not? But generally, when you have a lower bit processor and your results are expected to have more than the bit size of the processor, generally we consider the one clock cycle actually. I think in the last class I mentioned the clock cycle indicates the smallest time duration in which the computer can perform a job at a time. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So whenever you have a 4-bit processor and your expecting result is more than 4-bit, then what it will do is, it is something like here. It will store the 0 in the memory back. I will tell you actually. Here, these 4 zeros will be put into this memory, and the next one is there. No, this one will be saved here. I am telling. The one will be saved here, and 4 zeros will be saved here. So how many memory locations it utilized?
2.
Is it clear? By using 4-bit processor, still we wanted to get the result of more than 4-bit, then you need to organize your processor or you make your processor such a way that the partial result will be stored in one memory location, remaining higher whatever we are unable to store in one register of the memory, we can store in the second location of the memory. So total 2 memory locations. It indicates that every memory you wanted to write an information here, it takes 1 clock cycle. And to write one, it needs second clock cycle. Are you able to follow what I'm trying to tell? I will give you an example. Suppose you are trying to attend a function where there are 3 members needs to be attended. You have only a 2-wheeler, and triple riding is not allowed. Then what do you do? And maybe the distance is hardly 5 kilometers, not more than that. What do you do?
Rapid or something.
Sorry?
2 trips.
No, there are 2 options actually. Either you need to go for a high bit, means maybe 2-seater is not sufficient, you go for a 3-seater. Yes or no? Are you able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if there are 3 members, bike can accommodate only 2 members. Yes or no? Third member cannot be accommodated. Then you have an alternative for high bit processor. It could be a 3-seater auto, or it could be a wheeler of car kind of thing, so that all 3 members can be accommodated. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now I feel that you are not interested to take help of any high bit size, something like you don't want to go by an auto and you don't want to go by a car, then what is an alternative? You do it now.
Another
So
bike.
that all three members can reach to a function.
Two bikes.
You have only one bike with you.
2 trips.
2 trips, very simple. So first trip is considered as the first clock cycle, second trip is considered as second clock cycle. Are you able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it's a very simple rule. A lower bit processor can still perform high bit operations provided taking multiple clock cycles. In a single clock cycle, a 4-bit processor can perform only 4-bit inputs. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Now I tell you, first generation computers were 4-bit processors. Then 8-bit processors first, I think it was some 4004 kind of thing. Then 8008, I don't know exactly, don't remember this particular number, but you can refer later. Then 16-bit processor has come into market. Then 32-bit, then 64-bit. Nowadays, what is the highest size of processor? 128-bit is also coming into the market. I think widely used laptops or desktops which you are using, they belong to how many bits?
64.
How many bit processor it is?
64, sir.
64-bit, right? This is a history about processor bit size. If somebody wanted to really understand what is the bit size of a processor, smallest what is the time duration in which a processor can perform, the length of the inputs will decide your bit size of a processor. Okay, next come to an operating system. Coming to the operating system, your hardware is of 32-bit. Then can I have 64-bit OS? Can I have a 64-bit OS and 32-bit processor? Is it possible?
No, sir.
No, right?
No, sir.
So similarly, I can go with a 64-bit processor. Can I have a 32-bit OS?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can I have a
Yes, sir.
64-bit OS?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Now try to understand. A 64-bit processor can support the 32-bit OS as well as 64-bit OS, whereas 32-bit processor cannot be useful for. It must use only 32-bit OS. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is how you must remember here. I think yesterday somebody is just sent in a message to me that they wanted to install a software called Dev C++. It's all about what type of OS you have. If you have a 32-bit OS, you download a Dev C++ for 32-bit Windows. If you have a 64-bit OS, you download. How do you find your OS is 32 or 64-bit processor? What is the procedure?
Computer properties.
Very good. So just right click on the computer, under the properties, you will be able to see that what type of OS you are having in your laptop or a desktop. Based on that, you make a search and you will download, then install. Okay, then it can be useful. So you cannot have 64-bit Dev C++ work only for 64-bit. Then 32-bit Dev C++ is a software name, it's an IDE. It works for only the 32-bit. Okay, so that is how you should do it. Is it clear to all of you? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So whatever might be the processor size, whether it is a 128-bit processor or tomorrow it will be 256-bit processor, still it might increase to 512-bit, whatever it might be. Whether it is first generation computers or second generation or third generation, whatever it is, or etc. Right? If you look at the computer, the processor is separate entity which is there inside the CPU. This is a processor. My memory is separate, which is a RAM. The size of the RAM always mentioned in what is the specification for the RAM? How do you specify in your mobile or a computer? 4 GB RAM. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
What is GB stand for?
Gigabyte.
Gigabytes.
Bytes. Very good. So the bytes is more important for me. Byte means how much length?
8 bits.
8 bits.
Byte is equal to how many bits?
8 bits.
Very good. So 8 bits. So it indicates that in this memory, every location what I have represented in the before slide, it is equivalent to how much length? Can you tell me? This length is how much now? Are you able to follow?
8 bits.
So if one location is 1 byte, like this, how many locations I will be having for a 4 GB RAM? 4 into 10 power. If it is 0th location, the last location must be 4 into 10 power 9. Is it not? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I'm unable to represent those many number of locations, but I'm trying to make it very simple. So let me have only 8 locations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now I wanted to have locations for this. Starts with a 0. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If there are 8 locations, each location must be given some reference. This reference is called as memory address. What is the reference name? Memory
Address.
Memory address.
Is it clear to all of you? So how many addresses I have here? How many addresses?
8, sir.
8. But unfortunately, the computer does not understand the decimal number system. It understands what type of number system?
Binary.
Binary. So can you tell me what is the for 8 locations, at least how many bits I should consider to represent an address? I gave an example, log to the base 2 number of locations. What is the number of locations here?
3. 3, sir.
3, sir.
It will be 3. Yes or no? So my address will be 000, 001, 010, 011, 100, 101, 110, 111. I hope this is clear to all of you. Yeah. Now let me go to the next higher level of memory. Suppose I have a 16 locations. Now can anybody tell how to represent in binary? So I'm unable to draw all to just save the time. So first location remains 0 only. What is the in decimal number system? What will be the value of last location? What will be the last location to represent 15? Yes. So in the binary number system, how many bits I must consider at least?
4. 4, sir.
Sorry? 4. Correct.
4.
Very good. 4 bits, right? Because now remembering binary number system very tough. That is the reason alternative way of representing your address will be in hexadecimal format. So hexadecimal, what it says, every 4-bit binary number can be represented by what? One hexadecimal digit. Yes or no? Can I write this way?
Yes, sir.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
0 to F. Now, if my memory is of 32 bits or 32 bytes, how can I write? 0 to F will be 16. After that, again 10, 11 up to 1F. Yes or no? 0 to F will be 16, sorry. Again 10 to 1F will be 16. Total how many bytes?
32, sir.
32.
Okay. If it is 64 bytes, how to represent? 0 to F will be 16 locations. 10 to 1F will be the next 16 locations. What next after 1F?
20 to 2F.
20. 20 to?
2F.
Yeah, it will be 16. After 2F, after that? After that? 302.
302 to 3.
3Fs.
I think somewhere there is a mistake we have done. After 1F, it should be 20 is right. 2F is also right. Yeah, 3F means total. Correct only. Correct only. So it will be 16. Correct only. There is no mistake. So this is my numbers, right? If it is 128, tell me. 0 to F will be 16. 10 to 1F will be next to 16. 20 to 2F will be next to 16. 30 to 3F will be next 16. Next, tell me now.
Up to
Tell me
7F.
now. Sorry?
Up to 7F. 7F.
Yeah, very good. 40 to 4F. 50 to 5F. 60 to 6F. 70 to 7F. So this is correct. So total 16 locations, 16 locations, 16 locations. So if you represent binary, can anybody tell what is exactly binary number for this? 0, 111, 4 ones. Yes or no? Correct or not? For every digit of hexadecimal can be represented by equivalent 4-bit binary. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
7
Yes, sir.
0, 111. Correct? Now, if your RAM is going to have a 1 gigabytes, can you tell me what is the starting address? 0 only. Last address? Total how many bits? 1 into 10 power 9. Yes or no? Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So total 10 power 9 locations, right? The way 128 I am telling here, you are going to have how many locations? 10 power 9 locations. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So let me now. So with one more topic, I just will jump to a variables and data type and constant. I'm trying to go back to my computer system. Now I'm trying to draw the block of a processor here. This is my processor. The processor is divided into 3 blocks. We call it as ALU, which is called arithmetic and logical unit. This is called timing and control unit, and this is called registers. Okay. For the sake of knowledge, try to remember what exactly the meaning of these 3. ALU stands for what is the full form? Arithmetic and
Logic.
logical unit. Yes or no? Then what is this says? Timing and what? Control unit. Try to remember. Okay, timing and control unit, and this is called registers. I'll tell you, registers are very fast memory which are made on the processor itself. RAM is separate on the computer. I said the processor is separate entity and memory is separate entity. Generally, this memory is called off-chip memory. The meaning of off-chip memory is it is not available on the processor. And these registers are called on-chip. And sometimes you also have some small space. We call it as cache. Have you heard about cache?
Yes, sir.
Cache memory. Okay. Whichever processor has more cache memory, it's particular. The cost will be more actually. When you go for purchasing your computer and you take the quotation, whichever processor you're trying to ask for them, and whichever number might be same. Okay, maybe i3 processor only, and or i5 processor or i7 processor, whatever it might be. Just a minute. i7, whichever cache memory is higher, for that processor cost is more. So what it indicates that our computer, whatever it is going to perform, ultimately this is the fundamental block. We call it as the execution unit, arithmetic and logical unit. Any operation you wanted to perform by using a computer, ultimately this particular block is going to process that input actually. So once the ALU is going to process the inputs, it is going to calculate an output. That output will be put into the registers. So the question is, the ALU might be powerful, right? It can perform everything, but without the help of the second block, timing and control, it cannot perform. I will give you an example. If you try, I think you might have watched a movie called Robo in the first Robo. I think I'm talking about.
Yes,
In that,
Yes, sir.
without instructions of the creator, will it perform anything?
No, sir.
Yeah. So the who has developed that Robo is nothing but this is timing and control unit. Until unless this particular block will give information to it at what time what to perform, it will not perform anything. It is like a dummy kind of thing. So it don't do anything. It keeps idle until unless it gets an instruction. Now, can it give instruction without any inputs? See, without any work, you cannot give instruction to anybody. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I feel that I wanted to perform 3 plus 5. Just now I mentioned, no? So I think there are some registers here. I call registers name as A, B, C, D, something like that. I think I given an expression. A is going to be stored with a 3. B is going to be stored with a 5. Then this 3 will be taken into the ALU. And first 3 must be taken. That will be indicated by the control unit. First 3 plus 5 must be added. So that information will be given by timing signal. So timing and control signals are given to the ALU. Based on this information, it will take the data from the registers. Then A and B, once data is taken, it will be trying to perform addition 3 plus 5. Then 8 can be stored back into the any one of the register itself. I mean either A or B or anything C and D. So finally, once it is overwriting 3 with an 8, that initially 3 and 5 will be stored here. 3 will be copied into A, 5 will be copied into B, then 3 is copied into B, then ALU performs an addition, 8 is again overwriting the 3, this A will be put into back into the memory with 8 here. So now you are able to understand whatever inputs we are giving, initially they are stored in which area? Which area? What type of area it is?
Off chip memory, RAM.
RAM, okay? So all the inputs which you are trying to give in your C program, they are trying to take the memory called RAM, and the moment you try to execute, the data from the memory is copied into the registers. From registers to where it will go? Registers to where it will go? Respond. ALU, right? ALU is trying to perform the addition. The result is putting back into the registers, and from again registers are put into where? Memory. Is it okay? From this memory, you can give it to a monitor to see the results, your output device. Is it okay or not? This is the keyboard where you are giving input 3 and 5. I think very first class I have given this information. From the keyboard, data will go to the memory, from memory to the processor, processor to the memory, memory to the output device. Is it not what I gave? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, now
Yes,
only
sir.
thing is, I just wanted to elaborate something more on your processor side. There's something called registers which are very less in number, hardly in the digits, not even 2 digits, actually less than 10. So number of registers are very less, whereas the memory locations are very huge, right or not? Huge memory locations, but registers are limited. It is something like every family has limited number of people, yes or no? Every family, if you consider maximum 10 or 15, that to a combined family nowadays, right? If it is a single small family, not more than 4 or 5, yes or no? Respond.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now family members will have a name or address. Family members will have a name or address. You tell me. You're trying to give a name or you're trying to give an address to the family members.
Name, sir.
Name, right? You
Name.
don't call your family member with a 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of thing. Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Because they are limited in number and they are fast accessible. Suppose your father would like to call your brother or you, simply they call by name. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes, sir.
coming to your colony, I should consider your colony is consists of 100 houses. So every house is given a name or address. You tell me.
Address.
Address.
Sir.
Address. Why not your colony is given a name to every house? Why only address? Because there are many numbers. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you try to understand as memory size increases, address is more suitable to refer. Am I right? Address is suitable to refer huge memory. Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Whereas names are suitable to refer registers. Yes or no? Everybody understood? What do you mean by register? What do you mean by memory? The functionality of registers and memory is same. What is the functionality? To store the data. Agreed or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. To store the data, it is fine. Now you tell me accessing time. The meaning of accessing time means data available in the memory will take less time, or data which is available in the registers takes less time to reach to this ALU. Which takes less time? ALU wanted data, so taking from memory is faster, or taking from the registers is faster.
Registers.
Registers.
Yeah, that is the reason you can also consider registers have fast accessibility or fast accessing time, whereas memory has slow accessing time. Okay, accessing time is very fast or less for the registers. Accessing time is more for the memory. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
You try to remember, these are very simple things. Now, if you understand those concepts, now these variables, the today's topic, then data types, then constants, is very easy to understand. It doesn't take much time to understand. Okay. Now, the meaning of a variable is, I'm just trying to define one by one. Okay. Okay, let me take a variable only first. The meaning of definition of variable is whatever memory we understood so far, we have this much of this is some for every memory I'm trying to use this particular symbol. And to start representing any number in hexadecimal, we always start with the 0x. 0x indicates hexadecimal representation. So maybe 00 means I'm trying to represent 128 locations. I think we have seen 0, 0 to 7, 1F, right? Indicates how many locations? 0, 0 to 1F.
16.
7F?
128, sir.
Yeah, maximum you can have 7F or FF. 0, 0 to FF, how many locations? 0, 0 to FF, how many locations? It's very simple. FF means 4 ones. One more F means 4 ones. You try to find what is its corresponding decimal value. So you can tell easily. What is the value you'll get?
256.
Very good. 256 of 8. Yeah, 2 power 8 is 256. So total it is 0x FF. If I'm using 2 digits, if I'm using 3 digits, 000 to FF. So only thing is 0x indicates hexadecimal representation. Okay, so try to remember that. So meaning of the variable is between a user and a computer. This is a computer. and is a user. In between, there's something called the compiler. I think I gave a definition of a compiler. What is the definition of the compiler? What is the definition of the compiler?
Convert source code into machine code.
Very good. It will convert your high level language into machine language. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, this example I'll take. A user would like to perform addition of 3 plus 5. So, user will write 3 and 5 in his program, but ultimately you should tell the compiler where should this 3 should be saved, where should this 5 must be saved, right or not? So, 3 is an integer or real number?
Integer.
3 is integer, real. Tell me. 3 is what type of input you are trying to give? Is it integer or it also has a fractional part?
Integer.
Okay, very good. It is an integer. 5 is also
Integer.
what? Integer. And result you expect is also
Integer.
integer. Now, whenever you try to perform 3 and 5, first you need to talk about what type of data you are trying to add. Is it clear? Is it clear or not?
Yes, sir.
So other than integer, somebody would like to perform 3 plus 3, maybe some 7 plus 8. What type of number it is?
Real constant.
It is a real, basically. It's not constant. It is a fractional and integer. Both are available, right or not? Is it clear? So in the C programming language, we call that particular number as float. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, this number is also
Float.
Float.
float. What is the result you are expecting?
Float.
Float.
11.1. Yes or no? Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
So the inputs are belongs to float. Similarly, I want to perform some alphabets A plus B. I want to perform some character A and character B. I wanted to add. You may not understand what does it mean. I'll tell you a little later. But is it not a character?
Yes, sir.
It is also a character. I'm trying to get some number. I don't know what is the character I'm going to get it, but result is also right or not?
Yes, sir.
So before user would like to perform any action or any kind of operation, he must be able to remember what type of data he is trying to give it to a computer. So before the computer takes that input, the compiler is a mediator. So whatever you would like to convey to the computer, you cannot directly talk to the computer. You can only talk to whom? User can talk to whom?
Compiler.
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 Yeah, so type of data, that is called data types. You can see here, I think in the heading I have mentioned, the meaning of a data type is nothing but what type of data you are trying to perform or you are expecting an operation from the computer is called a data type. So basic data types, we call them as a primitive data types, means which cannot be modifiable. Derived data types called non-primitive data types. I'll tell you what do you mean by derived, but these are called primitive data types. What are they called? Primitive data types. So primitive data types are 3. We call it as an integer. Shortcut name is int. The second is called float. I think you can write completely. Then third one is called character. You can write only 3. char. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now the thing is, the moment you are telling this compiler, I'm trying to perform 3 plus 5, where 3 belongs to integer, 5 belongs to the integer, and result also I would like to store in some other location. It is also belongs to the integer. This compiler will always remember for every data type there is a fixed memory is decided by the compiler. So for the integer, the number of bytes are represented by 2 bytes oblique 4 bytes, depends on the compiler. I'll tell you there are some compiler Turbo C which takes 2 bytes, and there is a Dev C++ which takes 4 bytes. Okay, not to get confused on this. Integer take how many locations? 2 bytes oblique how much? 4 bytes. So the integer size depends on the compiler dependent. Okay. Some of the compilers are 32-bit oriented, some of the compilers are 16-bit oriented. So based on the compiler, integer can be taking how many bytes? 2 bytes or 4 bytes, try to remember. Coming to the float, it is a standard 4 bytes. Coming to the character, it is 1 byte. Is it clear? Okay, before I start discussing the variable, during the discussion, I'm just trying to explain what exactly a data type means. Is everybody clear with the data type? It is a type of input which needs to be performed by a computer for some operation where user is expected. So that information must be given to computer or compiler. You tell me. Should be given to the compiler or computer?
Compiler.
Compiler, very good. The moment I say data type, it is all compiler dependent. So integer, I'm rewriting here. Integer takes 2 bytes of memory. If it is a dev C, it is for turbo C, one of the compiler. It takes 4 bytes of memory for dev C++ or Linux environment. Okay, GCC I said, no? GCC compiler. So GCC or a dev C++, the integer is going to be represented by 4 bytes, and for a turbo C, integer represented by only 2 bytes. Okay. And coming to the float, irrespective of the environment, whether it is a turbo C, dev C++, or Linux or a Windows, it is always 4 bytes. And when it comes to the character, it is always 1 byte. So those who claim that they know the C programming, the very fundamental thing is you should be able to tell that which type of data or which data type is going to occupy how many number of bytes in a memory. Is it clear to all of you? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now I am trying to take some more data types here, which you can remember. Something called double, which is also a derived version of the float, but only thing is it takes more number of locations. It's called 8 bytes. Then comes long double, there must be a space, then it takes 10 bytes. Okay. Then there's something only long means it is also an extension of an integer takes generally 2 bytes if it is a turbo C, but in the turbo C itself it is a 4 bytes, whereas in the dev C++ and the GCC compilers, long or integer it is remains 4 bytes only. So long cannot be more than 4 bytes. There's something called short. Short is nothing but integer only, but it's a 2 bytes. So it is an integer. It is also an integer. It is float. It is also float. It is a character, primitive data type. It is float again. Again, it is integer. Is it clear to all of you? Only thing is the length. Just now you have told me, right? When 4 bits are there, what is the maximum number I can represent? 15, right or not?
Yes, sir.
If it is 8 bits, what is the maximum number I can represent? 256, yes or no? Tell me.
Sir.
If it is 16 bits, 32,000, not 32, 65,535. You can later verify, okay? So like that, based on the length of the memory, the maximum number that you can represent, maximum result that can be represented. Is it clear? Is it clear to all the students? Respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So here whatever I have written in the brackets, no, integer means 4 bytes equal to how many bits? 4 bytes means how many bits?
32 bits.
32.
32 bits.
Very good. 2 bits means 2 bytes it is, not 2 bits, it's 2 bytes. How many bits?
16.
16.
Yeah, float 10 bytes means how many bits?
80 bits.
80 bits.
8 bytes.
64 bits.
64.
1 byte. 1
8
byte, 1 byte.
bits.
8.
4 bytes.
32 bits.
32.
32 bits. 2 bytes.
16 bits.
16.
Again 4 bytes. So wherever I've written integer, you try to remember integer of 32 bits, integer of 16 bits. So what the difference means? Only the maximum result that can be represented is differing. Yes or no? Now I'm just asking a question to all of you. When to perform 3 plus 5, how much bit or how much memory you are requesting for a compiler, you tell me. 3 plus 5 equal to 8. What is the minimum number of bits we are using in these data types? What is the minimum size among all these data types?
3.
Where is 3? No, I'm talking about the data types. I have mentioned now these are all data types, whatever I've written in here.
8 bits.
8 bits, yes or no? I think somewhere here, correct or not?
Yes, sir.
So can I use
sir.
integer addition character as a result data type? Can I use or can I request a compiler to allocate 8 bit of memory for performing 3 plus 5 is equal to 8? Okay?
No, sir.
Why? What is the reason? What is the reason? Because my input belongs to integer, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So integer means minimum. Next, where do you go? Integer only, right? How many integers I have here? I have long, I have short, I have again integer I have. Which one I should consider? Int, long or short? Which one is suitable?
Int.
Int. Int of 2 bytes is suitable or int of 4 bytes is suitable?
Int of 2 bytes.
Int of 2 bytes if it is a turbo C. Suppose I am using dev C++. Int belongs to how many bytes?
4 bytes.
4 bytes.
4 bytes. So still it is also more, no? Then what is the next lower size here?
2 bytes.
So
Short.
generally short will be more suitable, even though my 3 and 5 needs 3 bits only, but minimum how many bits you need to request? Minimum how many bits?
16.
16 bits.
Yes or no? So 3 will be represented in 2 bytes, 5 will be represented in 2 bytes. My result is 8, no? 8 also is in 2 bytes. Total how many bytes memory now? You need to request a compiler for how many bytes of memory? Respond. Is it not 6 bytes of memory is expected from the compiler?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So I'm trying to tell you one more thing. A representation, right? I'm trying to tell you 8-bit number. 8-bit number is represented by maybe all ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What is its magnitude? When you attach zeros, you will find the magnitude. Yes or no? What is its magnitude? 256. Yes or no? Correct? So, can I represent? I'll give you the other way. In a binary number system, out of all the bytes, the LSB is called this bit, MSB is called this bit. When MSB position is used to represent sign of a number, then 0 is written for a positive number, 1 is written for a negative number. Okay. If that is the case, I can represent how many ones after this particular MSB? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 only. Yes or no? This I cannot use because this is useful for what? To represent sign of a number. So if that is the case, only 7 bits are available. What is the maximum value I can represent for 7 bits? Is it not 128?
Yes, sir.
If 0 is written here, it is a plus 128. If 0 is written plus 128, if I'm going to write 1 here, what it will be?
Minus 128.
Very good. Okay. So whenever MSB position is what is that used to represent a sign of a number, we call this particular representation called sign magnitude representation. Sign magnitude representation. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, just now I mentioned integer default is signed. When I say signed, how many bytes I said? 2 bytes. 2 bytes means how many bits?
16.
16.
16, right? So I'm just trying to allocate this is for sign and this whole thing for magnitude. So total how many bits? 0 to 14. 0 to 14 how many bits total?
15.
15 bits.
And this is sign. So can you tell me what is the maximum number you can represent by using 15 bits? $32,767. Try to remember this. And minimum number is minus 32,768. Is it clear? If I'm using an integer as a data type, or you are giving information to the compiler, I'm trying to use an integer, then maximum result that you can represent is how much? 32,767. Minimum is 32,768. Is it clear? Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So all the data types, whatever I have mentioned in the previous slide, they will have a prefix, not prefix, a word. If it is unsigned int, then all the bits are meant for magnitude representation, no sign representation. So only positive numbers you can represent, only positive numbers. There is no negative number. Is it clear? If you say int, it indicates minus to positive, negative number to positive number, minus 32,768 to plus 32,768, in which MSB is dedicated to represent sign bit. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, try to remember all the whatever I have mentioned so far. Every data type I'm rewriting here for your reference: integer, float, character, double, long double, short. All of them can be with sign. If you do not write anything with unsigned, you must write a word before each data type. Before each data type, to make it to represent only positive numbers. Is it clear to all of you? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I'm coming back to, so data type is clear. So all this comes under data types of a C program. You must remember data types, and these are the different data types and the corresponding Number of bytes I'm writing here with the dev C++ point of view. Size double is 8 bytes. Long double is also 10 bytes. 16 also there. Let me check this one. 10 or 16. Turbo C is 10. Maybe dev C++ is 16. And short is 3 bytes. Okay. So this you must remember. Now finally with variable only I can cover. Constants I will try to discuss in the next class. So what is the meaning of a variable is any memory when you are requesting or when you tell just a minute. Just a minute. Okay. So any memory you are trying to request some memory in the RAM by asking to a compiler. This is the computer. This is the compiler. And this is the user. When user is making a request to the compiler of 2 bytes, your memory will allocate 2 bytes of memory. So while allocating, if you are writing the statement something like this, int a semicolon. This is the first time I'm writing a C statement here. This is called declaration statement. It's called declaration statement, where the moment you say int a statement in the C program, the compiler will understand user is interested to get how many bytes of memory based on the int. How many bytes? 2 bytes if it is a turbo C. If it is a dev C++, let me take 4 bytes. That is not an issue. So 4 bytes of memory user is expected. And when I say A, because we cannot remember random access memory, out of this random, there is no guarantee that 4 bytes will be allocated only from 0. Randomly, it might be allocated from 256, 257, 258, 259 locations. Randomly, it might allocate. But garbage means there is an unwanted result. Nothing is there inside. So this is called declaration of 4 bytes of memory by using a statement called this one. So the meaning of a variable is during the programming, I'm trying to write a is equal to 10. Then out of these 4 locations, the value is written as 10. After some time, I wanted to modify this memory with some other value, maybe 50. Then this 10 will be overwritten in the same locations by 50. So whenever the memory is created by the compiler with the property that the value can be modifiable during the execution of the program, then you can call that particular this name is called variable. A is called variable. When you are trying to write something here and you do not want to modify during the program, that is called constant. That I will explain in the next class, but only to remember what is the variable. Variable is nothing but very simple way. Request to a compiler to allocate some memory, which can have a property of its value can be modified during the execution of the program. That is the definition of a variable. Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's something like your brain is variable or constant. Your brain, right? The memory of your brain is a constant or variable?
Variable.
It's a variable. No. When I'm taking C programming class, you try to remember what I'm teaching, right? The moment next class is going to happen, you erase and again you try to store the data, whatever teacher is going to tell. Yes or no? Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, like that, I'll give you so many other examples in the next class. So with this, I'll wind up. So what we have studied today is understood exactly the memory architecture or memory structure. Then we understood what are the different data types. Then we understood the sizes of those data types. And also we have seen what exactly the definition of a variable. And we have seen first C statement, which is called declaration statement. Is it information to the computer or information to the compiler? You tell me. Declaration statements are information to the compiler or computer? What is right? Computer or compiler?
Compiler.
Compilers.
Remember this point is most important. So with this, I'll stop here. I hope you understood. If any doubts, it's open to the doubts, question and answer session. Anybody? If anybody has a doubt, please they can ask. I will share this particular discussion with all of you. Meanwhile, anybody tell me, can I stop sharing the screen?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me.